Howdy y'all, this is AR Cavally. Welcome back to my channel as we now, once again, go looking for some adventure. Alright, so our first thing is with the character sheet, the adventures. They did open up some new routes or explored new hexes. And they did discover an adventure site, but they haven't gone in it, so looks like they're probably going to have to go in now. So I will wait for that. Where we left off, they were trying to convince, and in no way even came close to convincing Lady Sif to abandon her discipline from her order to come save Cold Breach. She's basically she's rubbed, she's washed her hands of Cold Breach. I shouldn't have even been involved in the first place. And in order to know how to use it, though, use this thing that she sent them to go get, this crystal pine cone, they've got to help her out. So we're going to start with generating a dungeon. I'm going to use the random generator that I've been using. I don't think I'm not gonna try to pair it up with the map though. I'm gonna just go theater the mind, as it were, and see how it works out. And of course, as with all things solo, I reserve the right to re-roll things if I think it doesn't quite match up or make sense. Um, oh, and they would have. Yeah, I guess they would have gone in uh, as as evening went. All right, so the law obelisk. Okay, so already that sounds good. That sounds good because one, it's ancient, so like a nice uh, druidy type order thing. The obelisk, and it was before the blood mist. Okay, so warrior built a big dungeon. So this is a big dungeon. Oof, that is a big dungeon. Holy smokes! Well, let's go do a big dungeon then. The secret engine entrance to the dungeon is in a cavern, is mainly occupied by goblins. 25 main areas. So there's goblins in here. Well, this one will be kind of interesting to figure out how to run through. Um, so we know the secret area is not in a cavern. It's actually in this copse of trees. So we're going to ignore that. It is mainly occupied by goblins and has moss. So the first room, it's this way. So Lennox lights a torch, draws his sword, and leads Zell, and she is following behind. So she will, in this case, she'll act as like another NPC, like another aide when they're doing the rolls. So they go down these steps, and there is a group of sorcerers. And because of the nature of this place, it's hard to say. Maybe these sorcerers are actually, maybe they're not hostile. Maybe a lot of people use this large dungeon, or maybe they are kind of maybe they work with the druids somehow. Maybe they're like the gatekeepers to this druidic Azkaban or something like that. So we're going to shuffle for our new session. And I'm just going to draw a danger card. 10 of hearts. So that kind of tells me already that they are helpful. So they are there to help. How exactly they're there to help? Well, I don't know. And Lennox doesn't even have to know. The sorcerers, maybe they're actually kind of druids instead, but they look at first they look a little alarmed when they see Zell come down with his sword and his torch. But then they look behind and they see Lady Sif, and they just kind of nod at each other, and Lennox gets the feeling that ages of information have been passed between the two, and he didn't hear any of it. But they open the door without a word. These hunched sorcerers. They open the door and they have a silver box on the desk. And Lady Sif takes her purse, and dumps all of the coins, which is not really all that many. She's not very worldly in that sense, but all of her coins, this is part of her penance, she dumps her coins into the box, and the wizard, the sorcerer, gives a creaky nod, or a nod from his creaky neck, and he closes the box and opens the door. Are these to be joining you in your penance, lady? No, they are merely my escorts, my champions, if need be. Whatever dark tricks you have waiting for me. The sorcerer bows, sweeps his arm, and then opens the door. And it leads into a corridor that is quite bland. However, there is something valuable. And I'm going to get like a little notepad over here. I'm just going to make a little point-to-point map here. So which way do we go, Lady Sif? They look down the hallway and they see that there's four. Well, at the end, the door is wide open. That one's at the end of this corridor, and they walk by and see an armchair with decorations. It looks like it has maybe some precious metals sewn into the fabric. And she's I don't know. So what I think I'm going to do then is I'm just going to assign kind of these doors to the next rooms down, I guess. So 1 goes to 5. Two will go to 4, which looks like another corridor. 3 goes to 5. Whoops. Oh, sorry. 1 goes to 3. 3 goes to 5. And then 4 will go to 6. I don't know. This place, I've been many years since I visited. And when I visited, I was not sent for penance. I'm afraid I will have to leave it to you, Master Lennox. I have no insight as to where to go. All right, so there's two doors. I've just kind of drawn it out. There's two doors on the left, one door on the, or two doors on the right, one door on the left. They're all closed except the one at the far end. Well, I don't guess this is probably the type of place we want to necessarily explore. If this is like a some kind of weird wizard's prison or something. That may be wisest. Sometimes the easy path is the best. Let's see. So the other three are closed. That one at the end is open. So 6 is a corridor. So it looks like that continues on. Let's see. Do they want to? Yeah, I'm going to say that the goblins. It says it's mainly occupied by goblins. Um, so I think maybe if they do see goblins, they're probably some kind of servants. Maybe I don't know, like at Gringotts or whatever. But since they didn't know, and just out of curiosity, they're just gonna kind of carefully peek in the first door on the right, which is going to be area 3. It's the mysterious pit of Assat. He looks, he sees that there's a giant pit. Um, he maybe he even hears this abyss worm growling or thumping around in this giant pit, and he closes it. I don't think that's it. Then he looks at the second door, which is locked. Would they keep us? Would they expect you to go to your penance behind a locked door? I wouldn't think so. And since if this were like some kind of unabandoned dungeon or something, Lennox would probably be more willing to to wander around and to break into rooms and explore. But there's sorcerers at the front desk, so this is not like it's not really an abandoned dungeon. And he tries the third door, which is unlocked, but it's blocked by something. Um, he's going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and try to I'll give him a might check to just try to push it open. We'll see what's there. And I'll give him only one. There's not really a lot of room for both of them to push, but Azel is helping him push. See if he can push this door open. No, he cannot. They strain, they push, and maybe they get it to move just a little, but it just won't move. They can tell there's something blocking the door. It could be a fallen stone or a dead a dragon for all they know. And as as previously, he's not really inclined at this point to try to go breaking in. Maybe it's not supposed to be. If it's this way, the sorcerers probably know about it and want it that way. So we will. He shrugs at Sif, and Sif shrugs back, and so they go into the wide open door, which is going to lead us to 6. Leads to another bland corridor. There is a tapestry, and it has one door leading from it that it's unlocked. So this just continues on, and they're just not going to steal the tapestry again because there's sorcerers at the at the front desk. So I've got where's trying to okay, so this is actually I kind of messed up my point map. That's 2. All right, so 6. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Area leading out of 6 is 1. So I guess we'll just, since that's the path I'm going, we'll just go to 7. It's the next one. The corridor is quite bland, however, there is something to investigate. As they're walking along, they find a pouch. Now we're kind of getting farther away from the front desk, and I'm not sure that the sorcerer's real goal, they're not really running it like a hotel, but they find a pouch. Lennox is just sitting there. Looks like maybe someone dropped it. So Lennox looks around and he picks it up with the pretense that he will return it to the front desk. And if he doesn't, oops, I forgot. So 15 copper coins. And in this corridor, it has 2 doors leading from it. And they're both locked. We'll say maybe it dead ends and kind of does a T, like stops in a T, and then at the end of each, there's a locked door on each side. Well, so far, kind of everything's a dead end then. Well, they must want us to earn our way to penance. Master Lennox, surely a man of your talents can open a lock. Well, he doesn't really have that talent, but we'll I don't think. See, that's going to be a sleight of hand, agility 3. So nope. But let's see. Surely he's got. Let's see. He could use his skill for something. There's crafting. Would be a good one that he has. Well, of course, insight probably not the best, but melee. You know what? He's gonna use his. He's gonna use his melee. He's going. He's going to use his sword to try to jam the lock open, or not jam the lock open, but slide it in, and pop the lock. So we'll use a point of willpower, and instead of using that, we'll use melee. Let's see. But I think he's probably going to use, instead of using his broadsword, he's going to use his knife because he's not really hacking it down. He's trying to, at this point, he's trying to pick a lock. Well, sneak through it. All right. Well, that's enough. So he uses his knife fighting ability to I don't know. He uses the nimbleness of his wrist and to position it, and he finally pops that lock open. We'll say he chose the one that leads off to the right. And that will lead to Area 8. What is in Area 8? The Chapel of Surav the Desperate. Okay, so I think looking at the rest of the rooms, boy, there's a lot of stuff in here. The Blight Privy of the Noxious Pagan. Assat's Lonely Statue of Profane. I guess I should kind of maybe look around these and see. See, I'll be honest though, I think a chapel really sounds like kind of the place that she would need that she would go for penance. Um, Obviously, it's not like a church chapel per se, but the Chapel of Suriv the Desperate. The room has undead and has a gnarly tree. All right, well that's definitely some druid stuff going on. However, there is a sarcophagus and a box with 12 silver coins and a golden necklace worth 7 gold. And it has one other door leading from it. So I think they're gonna. This is where they need to go. So Lennox, he leads forth with the torch, and he opens up this door. When he pops it, and he sees the main what fills the room is a gnarly tree, and shuffling around, however, are undead. So I think we need to have an undead battle. I think regardless of without drawing any cards or anything, I think it's just time for a battle. I think it's time to throw some sauce in this here place into the law obelisk. All right. So let's set up a map. They walk into the room and they see this strange shrine, and at the far side of the shrine is a huge gnarled tree. It looks mostly dead, twisted, but along all of the branches are these tiny buds that show that it has at least a spark of life. And speaking of a spark of life, when they walk in, when they lay eyes first upon the tree, these they couldn't really see what they were at first. They just looked like bundles on the ground, but they were actually undead beneath cloaks, as if they had been praying, or with their head to the ground, and they slowly rise up. I think they're here to test us. Perhaps that is what my ultimate penance will be. Lennox looks at her and says, "Well, not mine. And you're still supposed to tell me how to use this. After we take care of these poor souls, Master Lennox. After we take care of them." All right, so since they are basically just two sides, I'm just going to have a single initiative. I'll add him to the turn. I guess I will add, let's see. Restless and Ghoul. All right. So there's 4 of them, and between um, with Zell's help, and of course now with um, Lady Sif adding some druidy type magic going on, we're just going to deal initiative. I'm just going to deal out some initiative. I'm not sure what that error was. Let's see. We'll shuffle. We'll recall them all. Make sure that they're all there. Okay. And I've got 3 things in turn order, so okay, there we go. All right, so the Restless go first. And then Lennox, and then the Ghouls. So they're going to shuffle forward. And Lennox. I think as they're shuffling forward, since there's actually 4. Well, no, we'll just fight them as groups. So he's going to come forward. Try to keep with the the rules. I'm gonna do a broadsword, and I'm gonna give 2 extra skill points for the help from Zell and the inestimable Lady Sif. Now let's see. Harry broadsword. I don't. Yeah. All right, so we got 1 success. Good grief. All right, well, 1 success. He's got too many skulls. He's not even going to try to push it. And the ghouls will follow up close behind. And as they approach, it looks almost like maybe Lady Sif was right. Their robes seem very rotted druidic. All right, the ghouls, and then now the Restless Dead. They attack. And since we are using a group, they're just strength 2, melee 2. All right, one hit on Lennox, And I think he will. And I forgot. See, I forgot to add his sword fighter perk or whatever. So he's going to try to parry. And I think that just gives him +1 parry. And it does have a parrying thing, so he gets his 2. All right. So out of those many, many, many dice, the only thing he got was a skull. I mean, he's barely even fighting him yet. He doesn't want to push already. I mean, if he hadn't had the skull, he'd try to push, maybe. Well, he's just going to let it. He's just going to have to trust in his armor. Because it's helped him so much already. Well, actually, he did get it pretty good before, so. All right, so his armor goes down 2. All right, so the undead here are just completely kicking his Batooty. And then he takes 2 points anyway from the bite. All right, so his melee is now down to 4 dice. Um, all right, he's going to use his willpower to use his insight to find out where the best place to strike is. And then he gets his +2 from his pals. All right, there we go. So 1, 2, 3. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 points on the restless dead. Oops. All right, so chop. He destroys that one. Now see, they're as a group. I wonder if I should just have one guy. If I should just fight them as a group. It's been a while since I read that. No, I guess we'll just use the soaks. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and I forgot. Oh wait, or did I? Did I forget his extra die? Let's see. He's got 3 and 3. Man, either way, I forgot. I was trying to decide if I needed to work that his trade in there that I forgot again. And then that guy will go down to 1. All right, so now the ghouls are going to attack. And ghouls are 4 with a melee of 3. Uh-oh. So they're probably going to kill him. Especially the way the way he's been rolling. Oh, no. All right, so the ghouls come, and they're a little slow and rumbly, and then Lady Sif uses some kind of magic to interfere. There's a flash, and the ghouls stumble back. But then the restless dead are back at it. The one guy that's left. All right, right, he's going to, as it stumbles forward, he's going to try to parry and get his +1 parry. Thank you for his sword fighter. Really, really, not once, not one. Well, all right. Well, I guess he'll make an armor roll because that's really about the only thing he can do. Because he will be broken as this stupid restless dead is crawling all over him, gnawing on his face. For 2 points of damage. All right. Well, stops 1 point of damage, and his armor is, well, pretty much destroyed, as he takes 1 point. And he gnaws and he chews, and Lennox apparently has forgotten everything he's learned about parrying because he's rolled 72 dice and missed them all. All right. So the Restless, he takes a gnaw out of Lennox, and well, Lennox doesn't really have much choice. He's going to have to use another willpower point, and once again try to use his insight to figure out the best spot to hit. And then 1 and 1 for his pals, and then 2 for his sword. It does bring up the question, because he's replacing it, he's using a different skill. Yeah, I would say the gear die still applies. And not just because I'm about to get killed. All right, 1, 2, 3. And I don't think these guys have armor, do they? I don't think so. No, not the Restless Dead. This is just some poor druid who has woken up from his penance and is now gnawing on poor Lennox's face. All right, so and just for grins, let's see how he hits. Ooh, a 5-6. That for a critical slash. I just want to see what it looks like. 5-6. Severed arm. All right, so he swings. The Restless Dead stumbles forward, or is actually still on him, chewing on his face, ripping his armor to shreds, which is now gone. And Lennox pushes him aside, or Zell probably jabs him back with his spear, lifts him off of Lennox, and Lennox gets up and cleaves into the Restless Dead. His undead arm goes flying off into the darkness, and it falls. Ugh. All right, well now he's gonna get killed because these ghouls. All right, well I think at this point, Zell is probably going to have to act as some kind of hit sync. Actually, I think what I'm going to do, let me peruse real quick. Since the way companions aid you is somewhat vague. Really, I have behind me on my team an ancient druid lady who is either probably very skilled at healing magic or can purge undead, which is one of their main powers, one of their magic schools or whatever, magical paths. And so getting whacked getting whacked so badly by some Restless Dead and then soon to be killed by some ghouls. Obviously, it doesn't quite sit well with me. If she was just like a regular NPC rolling stuff, she probably would have been able to destroy all those, destroy half of them on her own anyway, instead of just relying on uh, poor Lennox's terrible rolling skills. So I think what she's going to do, or how I'm going to play that, is I think this turn she's going to heal. Um, yeah, I think she's just going to heal him. It says you can heal however much by the power level. She's an NPC, and I don't even know. NPCs are kind of uh, again, they're kind of squishy into how many power points or willpower points and stuff. But um, she's powerful, and it's time, by golly, for some of these NPCs to be pulling their weight around here. So uh, while Lennox is finally gets that thing off, she's been casting her healing spell, and now he's back up to normal. Let's see if the ghoul can successfully kill kill him back down to 0. Okay, so ghoul has a strength of 4 and a skill of 2. All right, so 1 success. He's going to try to parry, which now that he's got his strength and stuff up back, and yeah, I mean they're kind of clawing and stuff, but if they're reaching out with somebody, you can parry somebody's hand and their face with your with your sword. All right, come on, please give me a parry in here. Good golly! All right, well he's just gonna push it. All right, so okay, so he got 2 willpower back, so that's good. He parried that. He parried the attack. He fought them off, straining to uh, to push them back with his sword. And then now it is Lennox's turn again. And he's just going to go to town, chopping away. And I think okay, so that's going to be his attack, and then of course I forgot his parry again. I'm too old to keep track of, of talents. But I tell you what, because she is this druid. I'm going to give her an extra bonus die that she grants him for this fighting the undead. Um, all right, Lennox, let's get to it. Gotta hit. All right, let's see. So they don't have. And now the Ghoulie Ghoul attacks. And we're just going to call him down to 3. And a miss. And he swings back. See, I'll be honest, it's it's a story, but it's a little frustrating because every time he's got that, Every time I try to push, there's a skull up there. It's killing me. All right, but he is using broadsword, so that's going to subtract 2. And yes, they're undead, so they're just sitting there getting beaten upon. Now it's the ghoul's turn. As he... Okay, fine, good. He misses, and now it's Zell and... or Lennox and team. All right, I'll just drop it down to 5. She's out of willpower for now. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. So he slashes that guy, and he brings this guy down to 1. So he finally rallies. He gets his broadsword, and he cuts one into pieces, and then takes the fight to the other ghoul. And the ghoul is set back for a second, but then immediately starts biting back as Lennox and Zell swing their weapons. I don't need that anymore. Or as the ghoul swings back, Lennox and Zell tries to fight them off. Try to fight them off. So that's going to be 1 and 2 and 0. All right, so that would have been a good thing to roll like a long time ago, like well before the enemy had 1 strength left out of everybody. That that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points of damage that I just rolled here when they have 1 hit point left. That would have been great to roll at the beginning of the battle, maybe before Lennox got his face bitten off and his clothes torn off. But you take you take what you can get. All right, so he he mincemeats that ghoul, slashing off an arm and then coming back around and bringing his sword through the undead rotted face and finally swinging overhead and splitting the ghoul's head as he drives his sword from the top of his skull down into his down to the bottom of his neck, jerks the sword away with a spray of goopy undead ichor flying everywhere. And she finds her space on this little would that be a little plinth, a little altar, a little stone circle. And she says, I'm sorry, Master Lennox, about your armor. I can't do much about that. And Lennox, his armor is it's shredded. That it obviously, well, I wouldn't say obviously, since it didn't really seem to, but that zombie was, or that restless dead was biting and chomping and ripping it to shreds. I don't know that a person really could bite leather armor to shreds or tear it apart with hands, but they're undead, so they get to. We'll go with undead movie. We'll go with zombie movie rules here. And she will heal him his 1 last point. But I can offer you a succor before I go. Before you go. I'm not leaving here, Master Lennox. Thank you for the service that you've provided for me and for Cold Breach. Let me see the pine cone. And he hands it to her, and she holds it and she inspects it, a little look of wonder in her wizened eyes. It's real. How strange. You never know. about these legends, but I can feel it, Master Lennox. Ah, yes. This, the heart of the Ent, this will allow you to command, to confuse the beast that the cult is growing in the center of town in front of everyone's eyes. It will be an Ent. You mean like the tree guardians? Yes, but darker and evil. It will drink all of the blood in Coldbreach if you allow it. Then come with me. That is not possible, Master Lennox. And she puts it back in his hand. Now, concentrate on it. Feel it. See it in your mind. He's not a mystical type person, and through either the functioning of the artifact itself, or maybe with the druid's help, suddenly it grows warm, but not hot, but a comfortable warm. While you wield that, you can command them. But it is not perfect, for their hearts are twisted. You may have to struggle with them over and over. And so the way I'm picturing this thing works is it's kind of like a command spell, and every turn he will have a chance, and it'll be kind of a uh, maybe like a manipulation versus their uh, insight or whatever. And if it fails, then they do whatever they want, and if not, then you maybe lose their turn or something. It has been a pleasure to know you. Truly, behind that facade of greed, Master Lennox, you are a good person. And he raises his brows, and she chuckles. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. I know you have a reputation. And I have a duty myself. Be well, Master Zell. Be well, Master Lennox. And leave me to my contemplations. And with that, she kind of leans forward, kind of like the other druids or the undead had been, but she's on this like off-colored little or plinth. That's where it keeps coming to my mind. I should probably Google search it, but to verify. But that's why it's just like a little raised area, and it has like a fancy little druidic looking symbol carved into it. Do they want to do any exploring as they head back to out into the dungeon? Lennox is not really feeling it. He just got stripped by undead, and there's some kind of monster behind door number 2 back towards the beginning. So he's really thinking that he should be it should be leaving, and it's night, or it's they were exploring this, but they had traveled already to get there. So he's probably getting a little tired, and I think it's probably a good place to come close to an end here. I mean, he got 15 copper coins. Oh, let's see. Oh, actually, okay, I forgot. Let's read the rest of the stuff. The room has undead and a gnarly tree. see. There's a sarcophagus. He is absolutely not interested in opening up any sarcophagus. And a box with 12 silver coins and a golden necklace. Hmm. The other door is locked. And he's looking around. He looks at Lady Sif, and she's already off into her meditations or whatever. And he looks at the box, and he looks around. All the dead people are there. He kind of looks nervously at the sarcophagus, so he lifts he lifts open the box, and he reaches in. Nothing happens from the sarcophagus, and so he takes it. So a box with 12 silver coins and a golden necklace worth 7 gold. Hey, he got beat up pretty good. He's going to have to replace that. So he feels that might be a fair recompense. So we got 12 silver. And then a necklace for 7 gold. All right, so he goes out the door he picked and into down the corridor. He sees a couple of goblins run around a corner through a door, but he just lets them go. They leave him alone. He leaves them alone. And he comes back out to the sorcerer's place. And let's see, do they really care? I mean, do they know that he stole stuff from within? Do they care? I'm going to say it's not likely. I'm going to say it's not likely. Do they care? 5 of spades. Okay, 5 of spades. No, they don't care. They don't care. They're off doing they're busy doing their esoteric stuff, and they probably wouldn't care if he went around and killed everybody in the place. Although one of them does kind of eye the the scratches and stuff on his chest where his leather armor has been shredded to pieces. Did your mistress get to where she needed to be? Yes, she did. Um, I don't suppose you guys have a room we can sleep the night in as guests? Oh, we have many rooms. You probably would not want to sleep in them, though. Zell Zell nods and says, "I think he's right." And Lennox smirks. Thanks. And they head outside. And now it is getting close to this is where they would sleep. They would rest. Um, let's see. Will they actually set up camp outside in this creepy place though, or will they move on? Yeah, it's dark, or it's getting dark, or it's too dark. So we're gonna try pushing the bare ground because they want to sleep without making camp. So that's going to be a survivor roll to see if they spot sleep. Now it says you don't have a fire to keep the cold away, so you'll also suffer the effects of cold. But he does have a blanket. So I'll have him roll survival, and I'll give him a chance to resist the effects of cold. We'll see how that works. All right. All right, so he does actually manage to find they do manage to find a good place to sleep, probably maybe a little closer than they want to be to this place, but there are thick woods and everything, so they find a place to sleep. And let's see if he can resist the cold with his blanket. All right, so it's not as comfortable a sleep as he's had in the past, but the um, he does have it. And I'm going to say, yeah, his leather is gone. So for now, I'm just going to make that a zip for encumbrance. And then it's they sleep, they wake up the next day. And they do have the horses. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. All right, so they did do, let's see, we'll give him, before we go, we'll give Lennox his experience because he gets, okay, he's got nice, he gets 1 for discovering the site, and they actually went through it, and then he gets another for finding over, uh, what, 5 gold or 1 gold, whatever the treasure one is. I know he found 7, so he found more than that. He didn't. The undead don't count as monsters, although they certainly tore tore him up pretty well. And just because I don't want to fool around with any more random encounters or whatnot. They travel through the woods back on the paths that they made the day before, and they will come into Coldbreach right in the afternoon, but they're going to want to sneak around and see what's going on because now that they know a little bit more, now he knows there's some kind of evil, twisted ent out there that they're going to be having to fight. Um, Not really what he was wanting to do. So we will pick up as they have ridden through the day, um, back through the forest, back across the river, and back through the woods, and are approaching Coldbreach. It's actually before, because they still have like 1 more hex worth of travel, so it's not quite the full um, shift. So I would give I'd give them a chance to maybe scout around, see what's going on. But next time. Thanks for joining along. Happy gaming.